Hello lovely people, I have been exploring autobiographies this year, as you may be aware if you watch this channel regularly, and I want to talk about another one today, and that is Born to Run by Bruce Springsteen.
Sophie Vlogs.
Before I fully dive in, a small housekeeping moment. You may have noticed, I cut my hair. I'm super in love with this new hair. However, it is going to reveal to you the extent to which I pre-film my videos and then upload them in an order that I think works better for a viewer rather than necessarily the order I film them in. So there's going to be a peppering of long-head Sophie, short-head Sophie. I'm not magic, I just am super duper prepared. Now, enough preamble, it is time to dive in to this book. I should say this has been lent to me without the dust jacket on it, hence why there is not a picture of good old Brucey leaning against a car on here, and it's just black. This was lent to me because I actually bought it for someone for their birthday, and they really liked it and gave it to me to read. I am a fan of Bruce Springsteen's music, though I wouldn't say I am a super fan, because I wouldn't say I know it that well. I could do you a good single, maybe double disc compilation CD. I do like a good compilation CD. You know, I could do you a best of that also has some of my personal favourites rather than just ripping off their actual best of album. That's my thing. I'm gonna just make a statement now. This is my favourite autobiography I've read yet. It has everything I want an autobiography to have. Let's start from the top. The writing. Springsteen is a songwriter. He writes all of his own music, and as a result, he's used to crafting stories, because that's what all of his songs are. They tell stories. His albums, as he does describe in this, his albums, he's telling a story throughout the whole album. So when it comes to sitting down and writing an autobiography, the writing is really lovely to read. I really just enjoyed the way he crafts his story, the way he tells his story, even just some of the wording he's using. I liked it. And then connected to that, there's a wonderful self-awareness to his writing, which I also really appreciate. I feel like if you're going to write an autobiography, you kind of have to be conscious of the fact that you are constructing your own life story. Therefore, this isn't an entirely truthful lived experience, because you can't do that in writing. You have to construct and craft it. And he's kind of aware of that, and he's also kind of aware of the ways in which he has previously been biased in his writing, especially when he talks about his relationship with his father. There's a moment really early on where he acknowledges that the portrayal of his father that you would get from the music he's written is not an actual reflection of the man his father is. And a lot of this book does delve into his relationship with his father, the complicated relationship between them, and how it changed as they got older and that sort of thing, which was also really interesting. I would also say that I really like the sort of balance we get between work, as in music, his work. I mean, he's working. His musical career and insights into that, and also him as a man, as a person, and his personal life. I don't feel when I read Simon Pegg's autobiography, that was very work heavy, and there was a lot of stuff about his filmmaking which was really interesting, but there was not too much about him and his personal life, because you could tell that he didn't really want to tell you that stuff. He was quite private. And Springsteen walks a very good line, in my opinion, of giving you loads of really good, interesting stuff about his musical career, and then also not being afraid to, for example, talk quite openly about his relationship with his father, and also his struggle with depression. He's quite good at giving you enough that you feel you've actually got an insight into the person, whilst, not being here are all my deep dark secrets for the whole world to know, because no one really wants to do that. Continuing on from that, in regards to the music aspect, as someone who has just listened to Springsteen but doesn't really know the stories behind a lot of the songs and albums, it was super duper interesting to find those out. I've been like listening to him now and listening to certain albums or just putting it on shuffle and seeing what comes up and like looking at what songs come up and then remembering what I've been told about that, or like even if he hasn't spoken about that song specifically and the story behind it, like the story behind the album and what he was going for with this like different shift in musical styling and all this stuff. It was just super duper interesting. I'm trying to be like concise and not just like ramble too much. So I hope that what I've imparted is that this was super lovely to read as like an exercise in reading, as well as being very interesting content-wise. I just really liked it. Okay, I'm just gonna read you like this snippet which I really liked so that you can get like a sense of the tone. If we didn't play together, the E Street Band would probably not know one another. We wouldn't be in a room together, but we do. We do play together, and every night at 8 we walk out on stage together, and that, my friends, is a place where miracles occur. Old and new miracles. And those you are with in the presence of miracles you never forget. Life does not separate you. Death does not separate you. Those you are with who create miracles for you, like Danny did for me every night, you are honoured to be amongst. Of course we all grow up, and we know it's only rock and roll, but it's not. After a lifetime of watching a man perform his miracle for you night after night, it feels an awful lot like love. Just, do you get what I'm saying? It's lovely to read. He seems like a really great guy. Like, he seems like a really great guy, whilst also, like, he does explicitly talk about in this the ways in which he is sometimes a difficult human being, and his flaws as a human, and the things that he's done badly. And so I'm not saying he's like a perfect human being, but the sense I get from this book is he seems like a really nice guy. Those are all the thoughts I have on this, because I could talk about it for a lot longer, but, like, let's leave some of it to you to discover yourself. I hope this has been effective in just giving you a little, like, glimpse into what reading this book is like. If you're in any way interested in just autobiographies in general, Springsteen himself, just music, and, like, the music business and stuff like that, or just things that are nice to read, quite frankly. I would absolutely recommend this book. I was so pleasantly surprised by it. I was not expecting it to be this good, and I don't mean that as a detrimental thing to Springsteen. I just wasn't expecting it to be so great. Yes. That's it from me today. I will see you next week with something. I might have long hair in that video. If it's an older filmed something, we shall see. Until then, I hope you have a lovely week.